All right, everyone, I think we can go ahead and begin the program. I just want to start by saying hello, everyone. My name is Ashvin Jingo, and I currently serve as the chapter president of the Student National Medical Association here at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. On behalf of the general body of SNMA, I would like to welcome you all to the 2021 SNMA Annual Senior Banquet titled Embodiment of Excellence. We are extremely delighted to have you join us this evening as we celebrate our graduating seniors and our banquet honoree, Dr. Laura Buchanan. As many of you know, the Student National Medical Association, or SNMA, is the nation's oldest and largest independent student-run organization committed to supporting current and future underrepresented minority medical students, addressing the needs of our underserved communities, and increasing the number of clinically excellent, culturally competent, and socially conscious physicians. Established in 1964 by students at Howard University School of Medicine, as well as Meharry Medical College, and now with more than 7,000 members, SNMA proudly celebrates over 50 years of committed service to communities and continues to advocate for improved healthcare services and education to meet the needs of minorities and underserved populations. In addition, the SNMA widely promotes diversity in medical education and encourages the increased enrollment and retention of minority medical students. The University of Maryland chapter and SNMA in particular has a longstanding history of commitment to the surrounding Baltimore community through our various service initiatives. In addition to our passion for community service, SNMA works tirelessly throughout the year to provide opportunities for underrepresented minority students to become future physicians and scientists. Through our Minority Association of Pre-Medical Students program, Health Profession Recruitment and Exposure program, as well as our Youth Science and Enrichment program, SNMA members have served as mentors and role models for students from elementary school, spanning all the way through college, enhancing their exposure to the sciences and sparking their interest in various health professions. In addition to all of this, our members have also extended their leadership efforts beyond just SNMA. Despite the various demands of medical school, many of our members have held leadership positions in other student groups and participated in committees such as the Admissions Committee, as well as the Student Diversity Council, pushing for changes to be made to the medical curriculum in light of the most recent instances of racial violence in our country. Changes that will allow students at the University of Maryland School of Medicine to further develop into socially conscious and culturally sensitive physicians, equipped to tackle these important issues head on. The success of this year's executive board in carrying out our mission is due in large part to the example set by those who came before us. The graduating class of 2021 holds a special place in my heart. Throughout you guys' time here in SNMA, you all have ensured to reach back and offer wisdom and guidance to those coming after you, including myself and so many others here in attendance this evening. And through your display of excellence, whether it be in the classroom, in the hospital, out in the community, or now on Zoom, you've inspired us all to reach new heights. As medical students who have just recently embarked on the journey to medicine, we are honored to be among such a talented graduating class and exemplary physician like Dr. Buchanan, whose work demonstrates the reach of compassion and fortitude. We hope that you all enjoy this evening's program as we honor their numerous accomplishments and show our appreciation of their service. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Donna Parker. Dr. Parker is the Senior Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education. She has also been a longtime supporter of our chapter's efforts and continuously shows her commitment to fostering a diverse culture on campus. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Parker as she gives her congratulations to our fourth years.
Thanks, Ash, for those wonderful remarks. And thanks to all of you for including me in this wonderful celebration of our SNMA chapter, and your faculty honoree tonight, Dr. Laura Buchanan. I think for everybody, this has been an incredibly challenging year beyond what any of us could have expected. Obviously, the whole world has been dealing with the pandemic, which has been hugely disruptive to every aspect of our lives. And then on top of that, some old issues, which have never been fully addressed, resurfaced again in the forms of the Black Lives Matter movement and calls for anti-racism initiatives, which are certainly needed in our society and even in our profession. And I've got to say that for me, it was wonderful to see that not only did our SNMA chapter continue all of that good work that Ash described that is important for this chapter year after year, but the group actually seemed inspired and invigorated by all of these new challenges that we were facing as a group, as a community, as a world. And I'd like to say that our community is appreciative of all of the efforts of this group, and so is our school, for you guys highlighting the things that we need to do to be better, and also your peers and reminding them of the things that they need to do to be better. We all need to try to be better every single day. And I thank you guys for pushing us to do that and leading the way and showing people how to do that. I've got to say, I'm really thrilled to see where the graduating seniors are going. Match week was exciting as always. And I know that these seniors are going to take this level of commitment and purpose with them into their residencies and make a mark there as well, and continue to inspire others to be their best selves and to do the right thing and to stand up every time it's time to stand up. So I am really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do when they move on from university. I think that's it for today. Just thanks to all of you for inviting me and including me. It's really always a special thing to have this celebration annually and be able to remember all of the wonderful things that this group has done over the past year. So congratulations to all of you. And I hope we have a wonderful evening tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parker, for your kind words of encouragement. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Adorer, and I am a second-year medical student currently serving as the co-vice president for our Estimate chapter here at the University of Maryland. We will now be playing a congratulatory address from Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott.
It's Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. On behalf of Baltimore, I would like to congratulate the graduating seniors of the University of Maryland School of Medicine, SNMA. You have spent the last 4 years of your life dedicated to learning and practicing medicine and achieving academic excellence. You went above and beyond by being active in your community, participating in community service and outreach, and providing mentorship and support to pre-med students and your peers. This year, we're also here to honor Dr. Laura Buchanan for her incredible commitment to supporting underrepresented students and the community. Congratulations again, and I can't wait to see the success you all have and you will achieve in the next step of your journey.
All right, thank you, Mayor Scott. To our fourth years, I would like to emphasize the excitement we have for your success thus far and your future achievements as you embark on the next step of your journey in medicine. At this moment, I have the pleasure of introducing Dean E. Albert Reese. Born in Jamaica, Dr. Reese completed a Bachelor of Science degree with honors from Long Island University, an MD degree from the New York University School of Medicine, a PhD degree in biochemistry from the University of West Indies, Kingston, Jamaica, and an MBA degree from the Fox School of Business and Management at Temple University. He completed an internship and residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Columbia University Medical Center and a postdoctoral fellowship in maternal fetal medicine at Yale University School of Medicine. Between 2001 and 2006, he served as Vice Chancellor of the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences and Dean of the College of Medicine. In 2006, he was recruited by the University of Maryland. In 2010, Dean Reese served as acting president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore, prior to Dr. Pearman, and is currently the executive vice president for medical affairs, the John Z. and Akiko K. Bowers Distinguished Professor and Dean of the School of Medicine. He is also professor in the departments of obstetrics and gynecology, medicine, and biochemistry and molecular biology. We will now be playing a congratulatory video address from Dean Reese.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you for your kind introduction. And thanks to the Executive Board of the School of Medicine Student National Medical Association for inviting me to join in tonight's virtual celebration. Good evening, everyone. This is indeed a celebration which I'm honored and delighted to take part in. Tonight, we celebrate and salute the outstanding efforts of the Student National Medical Association, and we recognize this year's SNMA honoree. It gives me great pleasure to congratulate everyone here this evening on your many successes, particularly the seniors, whose graduation is very quickly approaching. Tonight's theme of Embodiment of Excellence serves as a reflection of the ideals of the entire University of Maryland School of Medicine community. You most fittingly represent this academic medical institution by the goals you have set, and indeed, goals you have exceeded. Your ambitions and take charge attitudes as students have been foreshadowing of the exemplary healthcare careers that you will follow. In the words of the National Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman, you are, quote, warriors, champions, and captains, and many people look to you to lead them to healthier and safer lives. You have already displayed the courage and compassion that is necessary for this responsibility. The pandemic world we have been living in for the past year has been filled with sadness, sickness, and in many cases, hardship. It is this distinguished group of students who will serve as walking illustrations to the rest of the country that, quote, even in tragedy, hope is possible. This brings me to our guest of honor, and one of the reasons for our celebration tonight. Dr. Laura Buchanan, Assistant Professor of Surgery, specializing in trauma and surgical critical care, is an inspirational steward of hope for her students, her colleagues, and especially her patients. As a member of the University of Maryland R. Adam Cowley Shock Trauma Center since 2011, Dr. Buchanan works in the midst of tragedy and difficult challenges, yet her interactions are full of hope and full of kindness. Dr. Buchanan joins a distinguished list of previous recipients as the SNMA's honoree. I salute the SNMA for selecting Dr. Buchanan for this honor. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause as we celebrate her outstanding commitment and her unwavering compassion and courage. Dr. Buchanan is quite the role model for each of you, and I'm confident that those who are graduating soon will leave with a solid foundation for the careers of clinical competence, academic excellence, and social consciousness. Congratulations, and my very best wishes to each of you for your continued success in all that you do now and in the future. Thank you, and good night.
Okay, thank you, Dean Race, for your kind words of encouragement. So moving on in the program, my name is Ellen Vika, and I'm currently a second-year medical student, as well as the secretary for SNMA's 2021 Executive Board. I have the pleasure of introducing our Banquet honoree, Dr. Laura Buchanan. Our selected honoree and this evening's speaker, Dr. Buchanan, graduated from the West Virginia University School of Medicine in 2005. After medical school, Dr. Buchanan completed her residency in general surgery at West Virginia University Health Sciences Center in 2010. Dr. Buchanan then went on to complete a fellowship in surgical critical care in 2011 at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Since 2011, our honoree has been an assistant professor, trauma and surgical critical care specialist, and a faculty member of the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center of the University of Maryland. Her research has focused on geriatric patients with acute surgical needs and surgical education. Outside of her research pursuits, she has continued to make great strides in educational programs for medical students, for residents, and for critical care fellows. For example, Dr. Buchanan has been serving as a course instructor for both advanced trauma life support and trauma evaluation and management since 2010. She then became the co-director for the surgical boot camp since 2015. Furthermore, her gift for leadership was exemplified as she spearheaded the Stop the Bleed training sessions for students from P-Tech Healthcare at Dunbar in 2019. During her time at our university, Dr. Buchanan has dedicated countless hours to mentoring others. She has taken on mentorship roles in multiple organizations such as Women in Medicine, while also working with pre-medical students to introduce them to the medical field. Dr. Buchanan receives endless praise from her colleagues and students for her dedication, benevolence, and tenacity to improve the lives of others. It goes without saying that we are truly blessed to hear from such an eminent physician who garners respect and appreciation, not only from her colleagues and the larger community, but also from her patients that are on the receiving end of her expert medical care. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Laura Buchanan.
Thank you so much. I cannot express how honored I am that these graduating class thought of me and the way you include me in your education. Every student rotates through trauma, it's required, but I don't get to know the vast majority of them. You have hundreds of faculty. The fact that you spent extra time with me is very important to me, and I very much appreciate it. And when I think of the theme for tonight, to embrace and embody excellence, I absolutely think of this group of graduates. I'm going to include some photos. So I'm going to screen share. There we go. So when I think of excellence, I absolutely think of this group of graduates. The other thing that quickly comes to mind is my mom. And so I want to tell you some parts of her story and use that to express some messages to the graduates. So this is my mom with actually only some of her siblings. The oldest isn't here. She's the smallest one in this photo, though she's not the youngest. And she is off the charts smart, like the first one to ace the state standardized exams on aptitude testing, always way off the chart. Now, by the time she got to high school, when she would have been applying for college, things weren't great. They could not afford meat for everyone, and so they only served meat to the boys, and the girls got the vegetables. And in the same theme, girls were not supposed to go to college. It was a waste of money. They were just going to get married anyway. And so her family not only did not support her, but they actively tried to prevent her from going to college. They wouldn't give her the required financial information she needed. They wouldn't give her their personal data she needed for applications. A school counselor might have helped, but when she tried going there, they just laughed at her. They said, your family, you're just going to get arrested or pregnant. You should try and get married before one of those things happens. But she was determined. She wanted to go to college. She was graduated high school at 17, and she set out to put herself through college. And she tried really hard. Obviously, given their opposition, she had no support, including housing. So she was trying to pay her own tuition plus housing. She did not have a safe place to stay, a reliable source of any of the things that you would need. And after trying really hard for a very long time through multiple avenues, she decided that that was not going to work. She did not have the resources she needed to completely independently put herself through school. And so she tried another path. She said, I'm going to marry a man who can go to college, and I'll help him for a few years, and then maybe I can go a few years later. So right after she turned 19, she got married. And then shortly before she turned 20, I was born. And so teen pregnancy works. But that plan didn't work out so well either.
my dad was financially had access to college, but it was never something he was able to do. And he was also not able to parent. And so very quickly, she now found herself at 22 and effectively a single parent with 2 small children and still no education. So while that was still her goal, she had to put that aside and take care of us. And so she hustled. This is, we moved a fair bit. This is a place that we lived. Now I understand if you take one of these buildings and you put them on top of the parking garage and put patients in them, that's called a modular building. These were not modular homes. This was a trailer park. This was a trailer. We lived in a trailer. That was a trailer park. But she was always hustling. She would work night jobs. So she'd stay up all night working and then take care of us all day and then go back to work all night. She drove my school bus sometimes. She would work for the school so that she could take us. She did housekeeping, Meals on Wheels, cashier, anything you can imagine. She did multiple jobs trying to put everything together. And eventually she made it. And when I was in junior high school, she was able to transition to going to school full time. And she did not just do well in school. She had a perfect GPA, but she aced every test and every assignment in every class. She got her undergraduate degree when I was in 11th grade, and then she got her master's when I was a freshman in college. And the first main message I have for the graduates here is her master's thesis. It's communication accommodation theory. And this concept, if you understand it, you will be much more effective and persuasive. You're already using it, I promise. But if you do it consciously, you can really improve your interactions, both professionally and with patients. So communication accommodation theory is the fact that when you're communicating, you adjust your communication based on the recipient. It could be how you stand or sit. It could be how slow or fast you talk. It could be the words you choose, but you adjust based on the recipient. That adjustment can be convergent, where you approach the style of your recipient. That tends to be in situations where you're expressing respect, where you perceive the other person as having power or authority. And when you converge towards someone, they hear you better. They learn your message better. They perceive you as more impactful and successful. And they also are more persuaded by the things that you say. Divergent communication is when you try and create distance. And so you intentionally or unconsciously are doing things different than the recipient. And that tends to be in situations of disrespect or distancing, where you do not like something that they are doing, and that comes out in how you are talking. The simplest example of communication accommodation that I've always thought is baby talk. If you're talking to a young child, you automatically raise the pitch of your voice and you use shorter words and you put a lot of excited emotion in to get them involved, and children really like it and they tend to respond to it really well. But if you keep using baby talk when they're teenagers, they would get really upset with you. And so no matter if your intention is good, if you use convergence badly, you actually cause alienation and hostility. And so if it's done not well, then you actually will make your patients or people you are talking to distrust you and not appreciate your message. Interestingly, this is the theoretic explanation for why code switching is an effective strategy. I am not advocating code switching or saying that anyone should have to change who they are to be successful professionally, but this explains why that changing and adapting patterns that are traditionally white European heritage tends to be a successful professional strategy. But then if you enter the room with a patient whose culture matches your own, turning that back off means the patient understands you better and participates better in their care. You tend to be better at communication accommodation the more diverse your experience is and the more you understand about others. And I really believe that the more conscious, because I promise you guys are already doing this, but the more conscious you are of communication accommodation, the more effectively you can use it, and you'll be more successful in your professional and patient relationships. But having diverse experiences will really improve your ability to do communication accommodation. And that was definitely part of our growing up. It was common to wake up in the morning or get home from school and find a stranger, and they were going to be staying with us for a while or sleeping on the couch. This young man knocked on our door one day and had no idea who he was until he told us his name. He had lived with us off and on until he had gone to school. His mom would ask us to babysit, and then she would just not come back for weeks at a time, or sometimes she would admit she needed help and drop him and his sister off. The baby here is now my daughter. That's her biologic mom, who we were helping for a while, and she eventually moved on and left the area, and then sometime later called us back and asked us to take care of the baby, and the rest is history. But the story I actually want to tell about strangers staying in our home, I'm going to tell from two different perspectives. The first is if I tell it in one way. One night, my sister and I were asleep in bed. We were still young children. And while we were asleep, Mom goes down to the jail, bails out an accused sex offender, brings him home to live with us, and even leaving him home alone with us sometimes. If I tell the story that way, it could be really bad, right? It could have custody implications. People would question her parenting. Her family certainly couldn't know. But if I explain the story differently, it makes a lot more sense. So her last job before she had made the transition to being a full-time student. What?
Do you want to put your camera on between
Sorry, somebody in the family was talking. Her last job before she transitioned to being a full-time student was in a nursing home. And she was the director of admissions and the assistant administrator, which is impressive in itself with just a high school degree that she had gotten this professional white-collar job. And one of the residents that she had admitted was Mr. Kelly. And Mr. Kelly, if you can imagine a 80-some-year-old, very distinguished, very dapper, always in a full suit and always in ascot, hat, matching silk handkerchief, very well put together, and incidentally, very gay. He and his sister had lived together their whole lives, and he now could no longer take care of his sister at home, and rather than separate when he had to put her into a nursing facility, he chose to go live there with her. Now, this was the 80s, and homophobia was even worse than it is now. And some of the staff members falsely accused him of molesting another resident and had him arrested in order to get him out of the facility. And he used his one phone call to call my mom, who had been this relatively random professional who had helped him pick which nursing home to move to. And he guessed correctly because she got up and went to the jail in the middle of the night and brought him home, and he stayed with us until she could get the charges dropped and helped him and his sister find a safer place where they could live together. And my message here, she always did the right thing, but it was really important to also protect herself and protect us. If she had told us all of this backstory at the time, being kids and we had started talking, it definitely could have come back to hurt her as a parent. And anytime she would bring someone to the house, it was the same thing. If there was somebody that needed help, but they were potentially a danger, maybe somebody who had a drug or alcohol problem, she wasn't going to bring them into the house with her kids. She would bring their kids. She might bring their pets. We would have a lot of people's kids and pets stay with us, but the adults might not come into the house. Most notably, somebody who brought a pregnant cat to the house. We had a lot of cats for a long time after they left. But she always made sure that she protected us. And that's the next message I have for the graduates is I want you to always be sure you protect yourself. You are going to have your own interests closer at heart than anyone else will. mentors, even a diversity office or HR, they do not want bad things to happen to you. They do not want you to be a victim. And their role might be trying to punish somebody who is creating a hostile environment. But they also might equally try to quiet the person who is complaining. Their motivation will be different than yours, and you need to document and protect yourself in potentially hazardous situations. I think an example of one of the best ways that this has been done is Dr. Denner. And just in case anyone is not aware, Princess Denner was the only Black program director at Tulane. She was the director of the Med-Peds program. And after many years of struggling within the system, she sued Tulane in October, and subsequently in February, her title was taken away. That lawsuit filing is public record. I have a link to it if anyone wants. It is well worth reading as a piece of education. And if you follow her path over years and see how she documented her interactions and the way she complained at the appropriate levels. Now, just as a couple of examples for some people who might not be aware, at one point, many years ago, she matched a class that were all people of color. At that point, the ability to choose her own resident schedule was taken away from her, and it was assigned to the medicine and pediatric program directors, so she couldn't control her resident schedules. That class of residents then got more difficult rotations throughout their training and were not allowed to complete the required training that they needed to graduate on time. And always she complained, she brought this up, she tried to revise the schedules, and the GME office at the institution would not listen to her complaints and would not respond. After she matched that class, they mandated she implement a formalized numeric ranking system, which systematically discriminated against people based on race, including anybody that attended an HBCU was giving a bottom score and would automatically fall so low on the rank list they wouldn't match there. And so reading this, it's a really quick read. It is worth your time just for ideas. While she was choosing to fight the system she was in, how she was documenting and keeping track. Now, she made a very conscious choice. She was in a malignant system. I think I would have chosen to leave. She chose to stand and fight against that system and try to change it and improve it. That is definitely a heroic thing and a one way to affect change. But you do not always have to run into a brick wall like that to affect change. You can, through small little changes, also move and change opinion. Kate? Yeah. Can you come talk to Fidel? Yes. So these are on the phone here, Kate. Oh. These are two of my mom's brothers. This is a few years ago. And when I look at this picture, I will tell you complete stereotype. I see MAGA hats, Trump voters, and that is absolutely that part of my extended family. Mom's the only one of her siblings that went to school. They do not like diversity. They do not like change. It is just not the environment they have been in. And that when I see this picture as a trauma surgeon, I see my uncle and his granddaughter on an ATV, and one, they're not wearing helmets, and two, I promise you there's open beer near them. But that's our family. There are good things about them, and we are constantly trying to work within their mind frame as much as we can. But into this environment, one of my younger cousins a few years ago said, "Hey guys, I'm getting married." Well, the first thing you need to know is that weddings in my family are not a big deal. That's considered a waste of money. Sure, get married. You can even get married in a church if you want, but the party's going to be in someone's backyard. Everybody's just going to bring food from home. There's not going to be big fancy flowers, right? The new married couple, they would do better to save that money to buy their first car or move into their own apartment or, those sorts of things. Well, that wasn't true for her family. Her family liked big weddings and really big weddings, and not just a big wedding, but a big Hindu wedding. And so this is actually at the engagement ceremony, which was about a year before the wedding. And our family members, many of them chose not to come. Those that did come were often very closed off. They were definitely practicing divergent communication. They were not trying to accommodate at all. They would not even taste the food that was there. And at the end of it, they were sure they were not going to that wedding. I particularly love this minute when Bill accidentally locked eyes with me, and please forgive my cultural ignorance. This is my explanation is best through the translation we were getting at the time. But as part of this ceremony, there was a coconut, and he and his fiancee Binti fed the coconut and watered the coconut and decorated the coconut, and then cared for the coconut over the year, and they bring it back to their wedding, and the care they give that coconut symbolizes the care they have for their relationship and their union. But at this moment, when Bill's staring in my eyes, what I see is him saying, I'm holding a very special coconut, and I don't know why, and I'm scared to death of getting married now. And now, one choice and one way to change behavior and fight is a strategy like Dr. Denner used. We could have stood up to the family and said, we love Bill and we love Binti, and you must come to the wedding because that is the right thing to do. And that would have been a short conversation and not a very effective one, and they would not have changed their perspective. But instead, Mom took a different tact. She spent hours every day on the phone with her sisters, listening to their fears, validating their fears, and in tiny incremental steps, changing their opinion one little bit at a time. Oh, yes, I know, but Binti wants us to wear those clothes. Yeah, I worry I'll trip too, or what if something falls off and it all falls apart? And But did you see that beadwork? Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I don't want to wear it, but I've got to admit it's beautiful. Or, oh, I know, yeah, eating food, I don't know about. I worry that'd make me sick too. But have you ever tried samosas? I do think you'd like samosas. They're kind of like a dumpling. Let me see if I can send you some samosas. And through conversations like this over the course of the year, very consciously working piece by piece, she got her siblings to be much more accepting and open. And here's one day at the wedding with everybody in the clothes that Binti had picked out for us. And here they are participating in even the religious parts of the ceremony. The very happy woman in purple at the bottom is his mom, who was absolutely sure there was no way she could possibly go to his wedding. And here she is, absolutely enjoying herself. Now, when we went to that wedding, even if we could wear the Indian clothes, we clearly stood out. And wherever you go, you are excellent. You are absolutely going to stand out. It may be because of the color of your skin. It may be because of your performance, but you cannot blend in even if you want to. And what I want you to do is embrace that and embrace your uniqueness. And wear bright clothes if you want to, be who you are, have big hair, wear funny hats. I want you to stand out and be you wherever you end up. And so my three main messages for the graduates are: first, communication accommodation theory. You are absolutely already doing communication accommodation. I want you to be more conscious of it because it will make you more effective both with patients and with professional interactions. Second, protect yourself. Use mentors, use all of your resources, but remember, you're ultimately the one that has your own best interests at heart, and think of that. And finally, absolutely stand out. That last picture that I put up there for a second, those are my first two friends, Peaches and Toy. And I just want to point out that my mom at that point would have been 20 or 21 with no formal education. We were not in a diverse neighborhood or a diverse town. And so the fact that that picture of me sitting with my first friends, that is who she chose to have playtime with, means that at that young, inexperienced age, she was making a very conscious decision to raise us differently than she had been raised, that she had decided that living in that isolated bubble was not the right way to live, and that it was extremely important to expose us to more. And it has absolutely shaped everything about who I and my sister are today. So my mom is Martha Buchanan. She's always my mom in the stories, but I think it's important to say her name in all of this and recognize what she has done. I am so proud of this group and of this graduating class in particular, and I hope the underclassmen that are here come find me and let's spend time together also, and the graduates, please keep in touch. Thank you.
Hello all. Thank you, Dr. Buchanan, for those kind words. So I hope everyone is enjoying themselves. My name is Tony San Miguel. I am the MAPS coordinator for our chapter here of SNMA, and I am currently a second-year medical student. We will now proceed to our SNMA Senior Award presentation. We are extremely proud of the service displayed by all of our SNMA members. But this SNMA Senior of the Year Award historically goes to a graduating senior who has continued to show dedication throughout his or her 4 years at the school. Our award winner this year has continued to be a friend, mentor, and source of support for many of the members of SNMA. She has continued to represent SNMA with class at events through the school year, and she is in fact one of the many reasons why many of us second years decided to attend this institution. Even at this week's past Second Look Day events, she continued to be an advocate for the warm and inviting atmosphere of the University of Maryland School of Medicine. The 2021 Senior of the Year Award goes to Delphine Quesiga. So thank you, Delphine, for everything you've done these last 4 years.
Thank you, Tony. We are extremely proud of all of our seniors and their accomplishments, and we know it's been a very, very long road for you all, and we congratulate you for your achievements, as well as your matches to residency programs at top institutions across the nation. And so we will now take a moment to recognize our senior class. As a reminder, seniors, you will each have a few moments after I call your name to go ahead and unmute yourself and say a few words. So our first senior is Delphine Quesiga. She will be attending Case Western University Hospitals for her general surgery residency.
Greetings. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you, SNMA, for this honor. I'm definitely honored and very grateful that you appreciate the time that I put in. It's definitely something I love to do. To see Black excellence here in University of Maryland is definitely something that brings me joy, brings me happiness. And honestly, I love my classmates so much. And I think that if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have made it this far, especially my fellow classmates of color. Thank you to everyone who has made it to the event. Thank you to our mentors. Dr. Buchanan has personally mentored me, and to say the least, she is amazing, and she is very about making sure we're excellent as students of color here at university. Thank you to my parents, my family. Thank you so much to my friends. Everyone here, Karen, Linda, Amber, my senior classmates have made the experience well worthwhile, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you to our advisor, Dr. Rivas, and a special thank you to our SNMA board, especially our president, Ash, has been amazing. He has inspired me in very many ways, which I don't think he understands, but to learn from somebody who's younger than me is definitely really a new thing. And Ash, really thank you for really showing me the light. Otherwise, everybody else, have a good night, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Our next senior is Karen Corte, who will be attending Howard University for her preliminary internal medicine and dermatology residency.
Hi guys, I'll keep it super short. I just want to say I'm really thankful to my classmates. I really struggled through medical school and certainly did not want to be here for all 4 years. So I'm grateful for the people who kind of dragged me to the library or coffee shops and kept me going. I really want to thank OSA and the Office of Student Research. I think here at Maryland, you have really tremendous faculty who are really invested in your success and your growth, but it's up to you, since these people are busy, to take advantage of that mentorship and make sure you engage with people who want to help you to get to where you are. So if I can make it, you can too. Keep your head up. There's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's a sweet light, so keep going. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next senior is Linda Otieno. She will be attending Anne Arundel Medical Center for her obstetrics and gynecology residency.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Linda, and I'm very excited to be here today. It's so surreal that we're all fourth years, that we're graduating. We still feel like we're back in first year of med school. The 4 years really do go by very quickly. Thank you so much to my assigned mentor, Dr. Buchanan. She means more to me than she probably knows. I'll always remember as a second year student, I went to her office. I was so confused. I was feeling very incompetent, and she had me sit in her lazy boy, and I just vented for, I don't even know, half an hour, and she just listened and gave me advice. And I left her office that day thinking that, wow, there are other adults here who really want to be on your team and really want to support you, specifically as a first generation doctor and in my family and as a student of color. And so that day I remember leaving her office with the new realization that med school was more than just about focusing on academics, but you have to look up and also see that other people are there to support you. So Dr. Buchanan, thank you so much. And I'll remember that day for the rest of my life. And so for third year MS3s, MS2s, MS1s, please seek out people who are willing to be in your corner and willing to help you reach your goals as well. You can do it like Karen said. Thank you.
Our next senior is Ike Oluwapo Ibrahim. She will be attending Yale New Haven Medical Center for her anesthesiology residency.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me here. In terms of, man, I feel like everyone has already said all of the good things that I could say, but just to add on to some of the great sentiments that have already been added. First of all, thank you, Dr. Buchanan, for all of the amazing advice that you have shared to us. A lot of the things that you said, I would definitely keep in my back pocket as I go through this residency journey. To the SNMA Executive Board, excellent job on this event. You guys did a great job given the fact that you had to kind of figure something out during a pandemic. And last but definitely not least, a lot of people have talked about mentorship, looking to people who are faculty, but also look to each other. I think some of you are some of the most brightest people I've met. You can also look to the class above you. And we are all, the fourth year medical students are also a resource for you all as well. I cannot wait to see what you all will accomplish by the time you're fourth years. It goes by really fast, so enjoy each moment.
Thank you. Next up, we have Papa Yenin. He will be attending the University of Pennsylvania for his family medicine residency.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for this honor. It kind of feels surreal kind of being on this end of the banquet, having kind of helped organize it in the past and attended in the past. So big shout out to the current SNMA group. I think it's already been said, y'all have really done so much for just the University of Maryland SOM community. And I think y'all have really kind of made this place especially better for people of color. And I think in that regard, you've really stood on the shoulders of giants in reference to the past e-board. So shout out to all y'all. Y'all are great. And I know for a fact that the new MS1s becoming MS2s will also continue on in the tradition. In reflecting and kind of like, where I'm going into the future, I kind of am thinking of this old Ghanaian kind of school of thought called Sankofa. And that really means kind of looking back and trying to take pieces of your past in order to help you move forward. And so I want to thank everybody here for kind of creating that foundation and creating that bond and that community. So moving forward, I know that I can kind of look back and take nuggets of wisdom and support moving forward. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the night. And thank you again for this honor.
Our next senior is Atusa Pahlavan. She will be attending Johns Hopkins University for her obstetrics and gynecology residency.
Thank you so much, and a big thank you to this SNMA class for hosting this awesome event. It's really exciting to be here and to celebrate the end of medical school alongside my amazing SNMA classmates. Being a part of SNMA has truly been the highlight of my medical school experience, and I'm forever grateful to have found a community of my peers who are all really passionate about improving the experience of minority students and having a positive impact in the communities that we live in and work in. It's also been such a privilege to be able to train at Maryland and to be surrounded by incredible mentors such as Dr. Buchanan, who share our passions, celebrate our diversity, and really help us achieve our goals. I'm really excited to be a part of this community and can't wait to see what the SNMA family continues to do at their residency programs. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next senior is Natalia Perez. She will be attending the University of Maryland Medical Center for her obstetrics and gynecology residency.
Hi guys, thank you so much for inviting me. I have been very thankful for receiving my training at this institution. I think SNMA from day one has welcomed me and been a community where I have felt a part of. I'm also very inspired, like everybody else said, by this group of SNMA leaders this year who really stepped up to the challenge of adapting to a pandemic and still being advocates for this community. I matched at Maryland, so I am also looking forward to see what the next 4 years will bring and probably maybe working with some of you in the next couple of years. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Amber Herbert. She will be attending Stanford for her urology residency.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, SNMA, for this wonderful event, really celebrating our success over the past 4 years. And also congratulations again to Dr. Buchanan. Dr. Buchanan is also my house mentor, and I can remember over the years her sincere emails that were sent to us, really encouraging us and showing her support for us as a whole. To tie it back to SNMA, SNMA is a family, a word that really has been echoed throughout today's event. I remember my first year of medical school, I had a very unfortunate event that happened to me. I lost my father to glioblastoma. And I just remember the support that I got from all 4 years of individuals in SNMA, and that not even SNMA as well, also OSA, and they were very understanding. And I just wanna thank the incoming class, the current board for just continuing that atmosphere of having a family and supporting one another. That's something that's so important, and it really allows us to feel like we have a home. Thank you again for the opportunity to have all of us here tonight, although it's virtual. It's so wonderful to see all of you.
Thank you for being here. Our next senior is Rakisha Berrien Lopez. She will be attending Johns Hopkins Bayview for her internal medicine residency.
Hi everyone, thank you. Just want to let you know I do have 2 children, so you might hear them screaming in the background. Thanks so much for having this event. Thank you so much to SNMA. This has been great, and it was really great to hear you, Dr. Buchanan. I don't think I had the pleasure of being with you in person, but certainly will take your advice with me. I just want to say thank you to SNMA and the friends that I made there. Because I have 2 children, I think I started med school first year being afraid that I would be alone a lot of the time, that I wouldn't have peers. And I think SNMA is really, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm starting to cry. Sorry. SNMA has just really given me friends and a place to call home. So thanks for all the support.
Thank you. We would also like to recognize the seniors who could not be in attendance with us this evening. So at this time, we would like to honor 2 exceptional Student Diversity Council members who have dedicated countless amounts of hours to marginalized communities. To show our appreciation, they will be presented with a certificate of honor in recognition of their dedication to excellence in leadership, advocacy, and service in the Baltimore community. These seniors are Nicole Meyer and Natalia Perez.
Hi, thank you so much for this honor. I've had a lot of fun serving the community and just being involved with students, mostly with both SNMA and LMSA. It's really been a learning experience, and as a future intern, I'm hoping to continue my involvement with students as well as the Baltimore community. So I'm really excited for the next years coming forward.
Congratulations, seniors. At this time, we will reveal the giveaway winner. So the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra has generously donated a single prize of 2 tickets to give away to 1 randomly selected individual during this banquet. So drum roll, please. The winner is Dr. Jacqueline E. Rose. Congratulations, you shall be receiving your tickets via online. So at this time, I just want to say, Dr. Parker, Mayor Scott, Dean Reese, and Dr. Buchanan, thank you for your words this evening. I can speak for many when I say that you all are true role models. I'm very fortunate to learn from you and see what we as students can become if we follow our passions and listen to our patients. To the University of Maryland School of Medicine faculty, physicians, and alumni, thank you for your continual investment of time and resources to support the initiatives of our chapter. Thank you to our generous donors for their support in making this virtual event happen. We cannot quantify how much your support allows us to help others through our outreach programs, networking events, and in our educational and advocacy general body meetings. Thank you to our faculty advisor, Dr. Kristen Rivas, for her indispensable guidance and support. Although the student leadership of the SNMA changes each year, she has ensured that we have the tools to succeed as a chapter and has made herself available to us virtually 24/7. Seniors, thank you for guiding our steps and showing us how to achieve academic excellence while still making community service and self-care a priority. A special thank you to all of our family and friends. We will not be sitting here today were it not for our loving support and encouragement through life's ups and downs. To the 2020 to 2021 SNMA Executive Board, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to you. You have worked tirelessly throughout the year to carry out our various community service initiatives and pipeline protocols, and I owe the success of this year to you. To our senior banquet committee, I highly appreciate your patience of all of Grace's emails, texts, and messages in regards to this event. Thank you, Sarah, for contacting faculty, Dom for contacting seniors, and Cam for contacting the students. Thank you, Maddie, for the beautiful gifts and certificates that you seniors and all who attended will be receiving. Ua for guarding the budget, and Nahom and Grace for the beautiful booklet, as well as the Zoom backgrounds that we have here. Thank you, Tony and Yonit, for organizing the awards and scholarship. Thank you, Viren and Zella for working to secure donations and funding for the event. And thank you, Nikita, for monitoring that YouTube live stream. A special thanks to Grace Lee for making the Zoom/YouTube live format possible and handling all of the technical aspects of this event. Last but not least, we would like to introduce our 2021 to 2022 SNMA Executive Board. Our President-elect, Chinenye Oyinma, our Vice President-elect, Sarah Therese Curtis, our second Vice President-elect, Kayela Quicho, our Secretary-elect, Adobe Ahanotu, sorry, our Treasurer-elect, Oluwatomiwa Oladuni, our Recruitment Chair-elect, Amari Darren Gilchrist, excuse me, our Community Service Chair-elect, Amari Parham, our YSEP Co-Chair-elects, Sarah Yang and Sarah Miller, our MAPS Chair-elect, Mariela Trejo, our HPREP Chair-elect, Andres Gonzalez, our Social Chair-elect, Kent Monk, our Historian-elect, Anika Hamilton, and our Parliamentarian-elect, Brandon Cave. We look forward to seeing all that you can achieve in the next year. As we come to a close, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude and appreciation to our chapter president, Ash Banjungo. He has not only been an exceptional leader, but an indispensable advocate and mentor of underrepresented minority students in medicine. We really appreciate all of the hard work you have done in exemplifying what SNMA stands for. We're so proud to call you our colleague and our friend. Thank you, Ash, for all that you have accomplished through SNMA. What you have done has truly set a standard of excellence and will have a lasting impact on our surrounding community. This officially concludes the 2021 Senior Banquet. Congratulations again to Dr. Buchanan and to our graduating seniors. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.